Hey BFFs, guess where we are?
We're in Paso Robles in Central California.
And guess what? There are so many restaurants and bars, and we have done almost every one.
Oh, haven't we had a lot of fun?
We have had so much fun.
Right,
But
yeah.
we're also here because we are going to Justin Vineyards and Winery, where we are going to meet with Executive Chef Rachel. We're going to do pairings. We're going to do flights.
And chocolate? Are we going to pair with chocolate as well?
Yes.
Oh, and they're homemade chocolate, I think.
Yes,
Wow,
yes,
it's gonna
they're
be great.
handcrafted.
Yes.
So, wouldn't you want to know what that looks like? Yes, you would. So come on, let's go. Hey BFFs, we are so excited to be visiting Justin Vineyards and Winery. Justin had a dream of creating classic Bordeaux-style red wines.
That led him to Paso Robles in Central California, where the cool nights and warm days, along with the distinctive soil, produce wines with great structure and balance.
Join us as we explore award-winning wines and so much more. Welcome everyone, and we are BFF coming to you from Paso Robles. And guess where we are? We are at the beautiful Justin Vineyards and Winery. So we came to visit our new BFF, Executive Chef Rachel Haggstrom.
Hi everybody, welcome. So happy to have you here in Paso at the restaurant at Justin, located at our winery here, Justin Vineyards and Winery. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's great. We've known each other quite a while, haven't we?
Yes.
And it's really nice to see you here.
My
Thank
go-to
you.
partner with events.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of fun, haven't we,
We
on some of
have.
the events and put some great shows on and wine tasting and things like that. It really is a pleasure to have you with us as our new best friend. Thank you so much, Rachel. We're really pleased.
So Paul and I, we had this crazy idea to pack it up and drive all the way out here because this is the most beautiful spot. The vineyards are gorgeous and the grapes, they're just hanging in beautiful little clusters and you just want to go and snip them right off.
You do, and they're delicious, I'm sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they make some delicious wines, which Paul and I snuck off to their tasting room that's in town and had a little taste of three of them, right?
A preview of what we were expecting today, just so we
course.
so it was great.
So
Yeah.
before we get started, I just want to hear a little backstory about how Rachel came to this little piece of heaven here in Paso Robles.
Well, so I started my culinary career in San Francisco, Napa, and eventually made my way to Orange County, which is where I got to know Paul. While in Orange County, I was doing a wine dinner, and Justin Baldwin came to the wine dinner as we were partnering with him, featuring Justin Wines. Got to know the wine, got to know Justin, and realized that they weren't just making wine, that they had a restaurant here. One thing led to another, and I eventually made my way up here to Paso, and I'm so happy to be here where I have access to so many great products, from wine to cheese to the vegetables and the fruits. We even have an in-house garden here, so I couldn't be more happier with this move.
And that's the thing about chefs. When you have an opportunity, you grab it and you go. And you brought your family, right?
We sure did. We packed up and left Orange County for the country.
And isn't it lovely out here? It
Oh my
really is. It's
goodness,
beautiful.
I'd do that in a heartbeat. It's just absolutely beautiful. So you get to come here every single day. You get to pick herbs and fresh vegetables from the garden and take them into your kitchen and just create these fabulous dishes and then pair them with these just fantastic wines. So let's kind of dive into what you've got here.
I'd like to try the wine. So what do we have here? We have a rosé, I think.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorites this summer. Our rosé is absolutely phenomenal. So we're drinking the 29 rosé, which is primarily Syrah. And, well, let's have a sip first.
Okay,
Oh.
let's do that.
We're not going to say no to that, right?
Oh, certainly not. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you,
Cheers.
everybody.
And cheers to you.
Cheers. Oh, it's lovely and fresh. So like a daytime drinking wine? What do you
Or
think?
anytime.
It's
Anytime?
really crisp.
But
So,
It's crisp.
definitely. It's nice on a warm summer day, which we get a lot of here in
Oh.
Paso.
Nice.
especially now,
Cold.
and yes. But this is so crisp and it's delicious. And we did taste this last night at the tasting room, and I just,
favorites.
oh my goodness, it was delicious. you could taste all the little crispy notes in there and the fruit. And so,
apples.
well, the one we had last night, you could taste the apple. This one, I'm tasting like some cherry in this one, right? But so tell me now, when you're pairing, because this is a light, crisp wine. So I see that you've paired it with watermelon. Is that a watermelon
so
salad?
we have a watermelon and a tomato salad. So we've got a few different kinds of tomatoes, some large heirlooms, some cherries, and some watermelon, which we've infused with our opal basil from the garden and some local olive oil. And this one, we're doing it with burrata. So the burrata has that creaminess that they want, acidity in the wine cuts through, but you get a little bit of fruit from the obvious watermelon, but some sweetness from the tomatoes, the acidity from the tomatoes, and it all plays really nice with the herbal and the fruit notes in the wine.
Oh,
Very nice.
yeah. You want to
So
taste
a little
it?
bit about rosé wines. It's actually a red grape that is crushed, and then the red skins are taken out of the wine, so it gives it that coloring. And do you use a Syrah or?
Yes,
usually
this
a Syrah?
vintage is Syrah.
And if from my part of the world, we call that a Shiraz. So there you are. So I think in Australia they also call it a Shiraz.
Yeah.
So Shiraz, Syrah, potato, patata.
Banana.
Tomato, tomato. That's right.
Okay, I really want to have a little taste of this
Okay.
with a little sip of this.
All right.
And we're just going to just dive in and take off on this.
This is the best part of the day.
Right? Okay.
Nice. And I should think it ice cold or not too cold?
You should drink it cold. Here, I think the flavor change that you're experiencing is because we're outside, so the wine is starting to warm a little bit. But it should be drank at about 65 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice and fresh and cold. So what are you
Okay.
going to try?
I'm going to go in for the burrata
Okay.
and a little bit of the watermelon. Look
Nice.
at that. And there's a little of the salt on here,
basil?
the basil salt.
So
Okay.
we've got some opal basil from the garden, which we mix with some Balinese sea salts to make a basil salt. That way we get that basil flavor all year long if we want.
That's for the bees.
Yeah.
Love the heirloom tomatoes.
Oh my goodness.
Tomato.
I love the heirloom tomato.
I think that's a show in itself, isn't it?
Right?
You know, all the different.
Oh, this is lovely. Okay, so all this came from your garden?
Except for the cheese, of course.
Right, right. Look at these
Someday,
little
maybe.
teeny tinies.
I love the little tiny ones.
Okay, wait, I can't.
You're chasing around the bowl.
I am.
You're going to have to scoop
You
that
got
I
to
am. I'm going to have to
skewer it.
scoop it. Okay. Here, look. Look at that. Can you see that?
I love the color of it.
That is just nature's gift right there.
It sure is.
And that's the best thing about cooking out here is that we've got access to such great ingredients. There's nothing better than a tomato that's fresh off the vine.
That's right.
Did you taste
and
that?
vine ripened.
Did you taste that?
Thank you. And you have a lot of organic farmers around here as well that
We
you can
certainly
draw from?
do. So when we can't supply all of the produce ourselves, we source from the local community, from Paso, Templeton, and a little bit further in Central Coast.
Very nice. Oh, that tomato is
Isn't
great.
it delicious?
Yes.
Okay,
Loving this meal.
so I wish you could taste this because it's just like a garden in the bowl, and it's got the salt is just. Tell me about the salt.
So we use a sea salt that comes from Bali, actually. So it's an ancient technique. And they let all the water rise into these pots made out of reeds, and when the water dries out, it's left with this amazing sea salt. We call it magic salt at my house.
Okay.
But we're dehydrating the opal basil and we're blending the two together, and it's just really fragrant. It really gives you a pack of that opal basil flavor.
So if somebody wanted to make this at home, what would be the process for them? Obviously, they couldn't get the sea salt that you get, but if they wanted to take their home sea salt that they have, their favorite sea salt, what would be the process for them?
I would take your tomatoes and watermelon, and mix them with some basil that you can find in your own garden or at the store, and just chop it nice and lightly and season it with your favorite olive oil and either a kosher salt or some other sea salt. And it's really just simplicity at its best. Maybe a little bit of balsamic and some sort of cheese, feta, burrata, anything that you can find or that you like.
Could you use a dried basil if you
Absolutely.
didn't have anything?
And then in the pairing of it, it's light to light.
Yeah.
right? And so, because you definitely don't want, this is so crisp and this is so crisp, and that's the direction you want to take, correct?
Yeah. This is definitely a pairing where you're pairing with similar flavor
Yes,
profiles.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it's similar, but it complements each
complements
other.
very nicely.
Yes, really
Yeah.
nicely. Okay, so let's
I
take.
can tell.
I know. Look at you. Let's take one last. Well, your last slurp,
I might have to top it off.
Right.
and then we're going to move on
We
to a more main course and a little more bold flavors, both in the dish and the wine.
And the
Correct.
pairing as well will
And the
be
pairing,
different.
right. Very nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to our next dish. So we just had a fabulous rosé with a just delicious watermelon salad that Chef Rachel harvested from the garden
right.
here at Justin Vineyards Winery. So now we've moved into a bolder wine, and can you? Okay. I don't know if you look at this. I know
it
you guys
delicious?
watching this you wish
All
you
right.
were here, and we wish you were here too. Not yet,
Oh,
Paul.
sorry. Oh, yeah.
See, I have children, you can tell, right? I'm talking and putting your hand down. So here we go. Okay, so
I'm excited.
I know you are.
Yeah.
So chef, take it away. Tell us what we got here.
So we've got a salmon, seared skin on, and we've got a variety of different squash. We have patty pans, we've got center cut squash and zucchini, green beans, and some more tomatoes. So what we did here is we've got an herb salad with a variety of different herbs from the garden and our flowers. And to help this pair with the red wine, we're going to put a foam that's made with lemons, butter, and egg.
Oh,
so the
delicious.
richness of that is going to go really well with our red wine. Today we're going to be drinking this with the Savant.
Oh.
The Savant is primarily Syrah again and Cabernet.
Okay.
So the richness of the wine and the tannins are going to be balanced out by the richness of the sauce, and that's how we're able to eat fish with red wine. Hopefully we don't get any bees in our food today.
We'll try not to eat them.
So let's just touch base about these bees flying around us, because whenever I'm on site and because I do a lot of outdoor
Right.
grilling when I'm on site. So, and I'm always attracting these bees, and they're just kind of floating around this salmon. And they love when I have pork, when we're grilling pork.
right.
They
They're
come
attracted to
out.
the meat, aren't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So yes, they're battling with us, but they're not going to win, okay? And they don't get the wine. So,
not at all.
Anyways, let's try this. First, let's try this, okay? So, cheers, 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 cheers.
Good health, everybody.
Yes,
To
your
best
health.
friends.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
to
BFFs.
all the
Best friends
BFFs out
out
there.
there.
Yes.
Cheers. Oh, this is delicious.
It's becoming one of my new favorites.
Oh
Right.
my gosh.
It really is. It's a
Oh
great,
my
great wine.
gosh.
So,
Okay,
you
this
know
is
my favorite,
delicious.
the legs.
Yes, yes.
So the legs, they tell us the alcohol content of the wine, correct?
Yes, and
To a
here
certain degree.
it is a relatively high alcohol wine.
Uh-oh.
I know. Cheers.
Doesn't take much for me.
But with Syrah and Cab, it's relatively light.
Right.
The tannins are very mild. It's very well balanced, medium
Oh, yeah, you
bodied.
can see that. Look at that.
It's drinking really nicely right now.
It is.
So this
yeah.
is one
Oh
of
my
your
gosh.
signature wines?
Actually, it's not one of our signature wines. What's special about this one is that you can only buy it here at the vineyard, so you
got
have
it.
to come visit us, and it's definitely worth the trip.
Believe
certainly
you
is.
me,
Absolutely
it
it
is
is.
definitely worth the trip. This
Right.
was our little teaser to get you all out here. So yes, yes. And you definitely want to come and taste this. This is just fabulous. And now we're going to tell you how fabulous it is with this salmon here. So come on, Paul. Let's dive in.
I'm enjoying the wine. I need to
know you
remember
are, but
to
I
eat
want
something.
you to, yes. And I want this sauce with it. Oh my gosh, grab the sauce, Paul.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we need to remind people that I'm vegetarian? As I'm eating the
You're
today.
okay.
Yeah, today I'm flexitarian.
But
There we go.
But
We have a joke
there
about
is
it
a
every
little
time.
loophole
There
in
is.
his vegetarian status because this is a vegetarian man that loves pork.
That's right.
How can you not? Though?
Right.
Oh, I know.
exactly.
Bacon. Oh,
Right,
it's so
right.
delicious. Any pork
So-
products. Chicharrones.
Oh goodness.
Oh,
That
wow.
was in my travel snack pack.
It was.
Yes, I always make sure when we go on the road, that's what I make sure to pack for Paul.
Delicious. I love the crunch of patty pan.
Yeah, there. You can dip your patty pan
I'm
in
going
this
to.
squash
Now I'm
and
going.
mix
I had a
with
little bit of salmon just to be part of the crowd.
This is so good. I
it's
love
delicious.
salmon, and so do the bees. This is really delicious. Okay,
is
tell me
that a
about
little
this
bit of-
sauce. Tell me
Yeah,
about
the
this
sauce is
sauce,
delicious.
chef.
So, as I mentioned, it's primarily butter,
Oh, that's why we like
butter, egg yolk, and Meyer lemon, and some salt. It's really, really simple.
It is.
Put all those ingredients together, and if you're not doing a foam at home, then you just whip those egg yolks, and basically you're making a hollandaise or a savaillon.
it. I mean, the sauce is just even delicious on the vegetables, but you know.
Yes, for you
Absolutely
vegetarians
delicious.
that eat pork. Okay,
Oh, funny.
so let's talk more about this now. This wine, okay, so it's definitely the other side of the tracks from what we had earlier.
Definitely. So what we're doing here in terms of, well, it's red obviously, but it's rich, it's bold, and it's a blend. As well as our pairing is a little bit different than what we did earlier because we're taking, it's a slightly unconventional, where the other pairing was more conventional and then we're taking similar flavors and blending them together. Here I'm playing with ingredients to balance out
Right.
and highlight different things.
But
in
you
the
could
wine.
have this with a great steak.
Most
could
certainly
you?
could.
With,
It'd
with
be great
red meat.
with a pork on the grill.
There you
Right.
are. Absolutely.
Okay, I'll
And
throw pork on the grill for you and a tomahawk on the grill for me. And what's your pleasure?
I
like
don't know, I'm
lamb?
gonna have a little bit of both.
Oh,
I do
fantastic.
love lamb.
Lamb.
And lamb
Oh,
is
nice.
yes.
a beautiful pairing.
yeah.
Yes, I
Lamb
have to
with
agree with
rosemary
you.
and garlic.
Yes. Oh, yes,
How
yes,
delicious
yes.
is that?
would be so delicious. We're going to have to come
Yeah.
back.
Especially with the Savant, it would be perfect.
Yes.
So
Great wines.
And Justin, normally they're more reds than anything, right? They
Yes.
produce more reds here
We're
at
a
the
red
wine.
house,
Yes,
which
yes.
Right.
is why in the next segment we're going to do our flagship wine, which is going to be the isosceles, and it's a red blend.
Oh,
With
I'm looking forward to
chocolate.
that with chocolate.
With
What a great.
chocolate, and that's
Yes.
going to be exceptional. I know already because we had that wine last night too, right?
We did.
Yes, it all the wine that we've had is just so delicious, and I have clients that request this on our events, and so now I can say I've been here,
You certainly can.
firsthand, experienced
That's
it
right.
firsthand.
Walk the
yes.
vineyards.
Walked the vineyards,
Uh-huh.
or as Paul says, the vineyards.
Vineyards.
Sounds so much better when you say
thank you.
it. So yes, yes. So we want to come back and we want to further our education in.
Because I know the soils have a lot to do with the
Yes.
flavor and the
Yes.
and the boldness of the wines, of the fossilized limestone that you have in this area.
We do. There, I believe it's called calcareous soil, and there's a lot
Very
of
nice.
clay and a lot of minerality. And majority of the time, it's dry farm. I think they only farm a couple times out of the year.
Okay.
So the vines are forced to really make an effort to dig deep and find the nutrients,
Right.
hence enhancing the flavor of the grapes.
And how many acres are there of vineyard right now?
There's just shy of 200. It's about 160.
Wow. And you're in harvest season right now, correct?
They're starting to harvest
Yes.
right now, and they're actually harvesting all the whites. So for
Okay.
the Sauv Blanc, the Viognier, and we make a very small amount of Chardonnay. So those of you
Alright.
that like Chardonnay, as soon as it comes out, it sells out quickly.
But I think you also have another wine that you only have here at the restaurant. Am I correct?
That
it's
is
a
correct.
dessert
It's
wine.
called Sonny's Block.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
And it's a dessert wine. It's a muscat.
Uh-huh.
And so you have to come in for dinner and try it with
That's right,
our
'cause
desserts made by our pastry
It's quite
chef.
rare, correct?
It is.
Yes.
It is. Very limited supply as well.
So that's another reason to come if you like
Right.
white, you know,
Yes,
the sweet
yes.
wines.
And if you're traveling this is a destination
It is.
vacation for you, then there is cottages you have,
We do.
correct?
So we have everything you need for a few days of your stay. We've got an inn, which is sitting right here next to us on the vineyard, so you have beautiful views of the vineyards. We have a restaurant that serves you breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Very nice.
We have our tasting rooms, and soon, hopefully, we'll have more experiences when we're able to bring back tours and such. As of right now, we've got our tasting, but we're also doing a chocolate paired wine tasting as well.
I think that's fun. And you make the chocolate here?
We have a pastry chef, Sari, and she does all of the homemade bonbons herself, and she painstakingly hand paints them all.
And she uses one of the wines in one of her.
She does.
correct?
She uses the Cabernet, our house wine, which is what we became famous for.
Yes.
And again, we're going to be trying those chocolates with the wine later today.
Oh,
I think the red wines are so delicious because your night temperatures and your day temperatures are so different. And it's that extreme that makes the wines, the flavors of intensity of the wine so great.
It's going to
Yeah.
get up to about 100 degrees today. And earlier we were all in jackets. So.
Yes,
Yeah.
we were.
Yes,
And I
yes.
think on Saturday it's going to 107.
Yep, that's
And your
correct.
night temperatures, what, about 56 or
Correct.
60?
It'll drop to 50s and 60s.
Right.
Wow.
So that's great for the wine.
Yes, yes.
Puts them under a bit of stress, I believe, and
Yes.
it makes the flavors better.
Well,
Nice.
I am looking forward to our dessert section.
am I.
And I can't wait because I am a chocolate lover and I love wine and chocolate. I love coffee and chocolate too, but I really love wine and chocolate. So we are going to come back and show you our delicious wine and chocolate. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Right back. See you then.